This week I've been implementing the trading house, the place where you'll be selling products made in the lumber mill for amber, the currency of the game. I've also made some other changes which I'll get into. I started the week as I normally do, drawing a sprite. Here I'm drawing the trading house outline. This is the largest building in the game so far and will be randomly placed somewhere in the world when the forest is generated. The player then has to find the building before they're able to start trading. At the moment that's quite easy as there's no way of obscuring unexplored areas, but I'll be implementing something that does that later on. Before adding the wood texture, I tested the building in the world to see how it looked in the game context, including with tracks, which I made in last week's video which I've linked above. I decided that the purple for the roof didn't really work, so I went back and recolored it grey before filling in the wood texture and finishing details. I then added the building to the forest generator so that I would place the building at random at the start of every game. That worked nicely, but I discovered that trees next to the building were often overlapping. This is a real problem with isometric 2D games, where the depth is calculated primarily based on the height of the building. I fixed this by simply telling the camera that the building was lower on the screen than it thought. Now this looks like it's all exactly as it should be, right? Nope, I quickly discovered that I was unable to place anything directly in front of the trading house. That's what the red squares indicate. This was caused by the game somehow placing the building 2 squares down from where it was rendering the building. In the process of fixing this, I broke the forest generator completely. The error message basically said I'd forgotten to actually attach the trading house building to Unity. That was fixed by doing what I was told and telling myself to be a bit more careful next time. The whole broken forest problem actually resulted in a brainwave which helped me fix the positioning problem. I discovered that despite the building being put in the right place initially, the forest generator was repositioning the building along with all the tiles a second time once the algorithm completed. I then modified the tracks I implemented last week so that 4 of them could be attached to the building at once. As you can see here, a problem arose that when tracks are added in reverse from the building, a new cart is made every single time a piece of track is laid. To fix this, I made a control panel for tracks and added a button to allow for rail carts to be added to the end of the track once it's been placed. This will allow the player to have control over how many carts are on the track at once, a feature I may implement fully later. The last step in all of this was to get the cart to move back and forth along the track from the lumber mill to the trading house. This took a lot of work and many bug fixes, but I eventually got to a solution that worked nicely. As you can see here, whenever the cart reaches the building, the value of the cart's contents is then put in the player's bank. I took a break for the evening as that was a lot of work. On Wednesday I moved on from the trading house temporarily to upgrade the way inventories are displayed in the game. Up until now, inventories have been displayed as a simple list of items contained in the inventory, as you can see here. The problem with that approach though is firstly, it's ugly, and secondly, it's quite hard to see at a glance how many of each item there are. I decided a better way of doing things would be to show all the item sprites in a grid with a count next to the sprite. I got that looking pretty good, but discovered that for some reason the first tiles that were added wouldn't be cleared and would appear as duplicates in the inventory. I fixed that in the code like this. I used a for each loop to access all the children in the grid, which are always item count tiles, and destroy them one by one before reloading the display. For some reason this works better than simply destroying all the items from an array list. Anyway, that solved the problem and I ended up with this, working perfectly and much better than previously. It's also more modular, so I'll be able to adapt this to other game UIs later on. That's all for this week. If you haven't already, remember to subscribe and I'll see you for next week's video.